Hi everyone. Hello. Vanakkam. Vanakkam. I'm coming to Kovai after 35 years. I used to come to, my sister used to stay here in Sai Baba colony briefly when I was in the school. And that's the time I used to frequent Coimbatore, go to Annapurna restaurant. It's still quite big. They used to make some of the biggest doshas. Do they still make it? Yeah, they're still good at it as they were 35 years ago. If some of you can't, you can come. There are some seats in the front, so that you can see the film. This is what, more than my speech, it's the films that we are showcasing here. So it'll be nice for you to get a full glory of the view. Thank you, DJ AD, for inviting me. Thank you, Sarita. Thank you, everyone, for having me here. And for nudging me since months to take out 2 days and be here, which I'm very happy about. Last night we reached at 11 in the evening, and the kind of hospitality and the warmth that we experienced, made us feel more than at home. It was really, really wonderful. Today also, the lunch was so heavy, I was wondering how will I drag myself to this place and talk. And then the parampuri and the stuff out there was even more tempting. I resisted myself. So today I'm going to talk about local stories and global conversation. That's something that probably I can talk about, because that's something that local stories are extremely charming for me. And like Sarita put in very eloquent words, it's not my fascination, but it's all that I know. I can only get enchanted by people around me, situations around me, and that gives me enough inspiration and to go forth and come up with whatever I've been producing all these years. What do we do? I want to show you a snippet of our films, because ultimately you have called me because of the work that I do. And have a glimpse of the kind of work that one has been doing in a very short montage of films.
चिंतामणि के कंधे पे टैक्स का बोझ।
गाड़ी चलती रहे बिन पहिया पट्टी मार के।
ये है भैया छोटे सुल्तान, बहादुर होशियार, पर दूध जब आए हो जाए फरार।
चुन्नी 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 लाल
वंडी अड़कड़ा
वाला कमीला भी दूं।
और ये हम आपको प्रूव करके दिखाएंगे।
नेक्स्ट टाइम
अब बिना पानी फेस क्लीन करना।
अरे इनके घर को डर कैसा?
দোটানায় পড়লে নিজেকে প্রশ্ন করলে সত্যি করে আমার কি চাই?
गर्ल्स
क्या स्टाइल है तेरा, क्या स्माइल है तेरी.
Chaos gave way to violence.
ভান্ডারে তুই তো একটা সোয়েটারও পরলি না।
দূর ঘাম হয়,
অন্তত একটা মাংকি ক্যাপ।
তো কুটকুট করে।
Now I look like number 25, na? No? Now? बैट्समैन भी आउट हो जाए क्योंकि बॉल सीधे मेरे मुंह में आए. हाय ये सो हाय.
खेती पहाड़ों में चरने ये जाए, किस्म किस्म की ये जड़ी बूटियां खाए.
bodies look beyond, look at me.
धर्ममुके
ഇതും നോക്കരുത്, തത്വമൊന്നും നോക്കരുത്.
All right. So that is a montage of our films. Now, if you notice, we have been working with a multitude of mediums. We are not limiting ourselves to animation. We are shooting films with real people. And I guess this is mainly because of the design background that I have. Because how do you, every story is different, every message is different. It's like, I mean, this is a chair that you're sitting on, and every chair has a different function. And according to that function, the form changes. If it is when they are sitting on a bench here, because they have only that much space and they have to be alert. This can recline, your chairs can recline, you can go to sleep as well. So the function is different, so the form is accordingly changing. And according to me, even the message for every film is unique. And crafting a visual design style, audiovisual design style to suit it, for it to become maximum effective, has been a quest. And also, I mean, that's the GAN of it. That's a funda behind it. But we love variety. We don't want to keep doing the same thing for 27 years, right? You don't want to like make the same film, same technique you use, and you keep it's boring, isn't it? All of you would like to go out in the industry and do the same thing every single time. Every project should look the same, feel the same. So that is something that I felt, and I infected my team members also with that sort of a mentality. So they all start thinking different. So when an idea comes, how do we tell that idea most effectively? That becomes a question. In that process, a brand gets a unique identity. a product that is trying to advertise, they get a unique new look which is so different and clutter breaking that serves the purpose for them as well. So that's been our journey. So we are working in a medium agnostic way, but we are leaning more towards animation. So we, like Sarita said, it's my vision to make India a superpower in the animation scene globally. And we have that potential. That's where all the seeds we are trying to sow in the institutes like these, so that people get charged up to tell their own stories. Like I got charged up and I got an admission in a very, very amazing institute that really changed my life, National Institute of Design. So that is the parallel that I want to draw. And Indian animation, to talk about it, it is, like Mr. Sanjay was saying, it is still a lot of hands. They are preparing a lot of skilled laborers and not the minds. And how we can change the world is if we can have the minds. And for that, we need to look at our roots. So I want to give a little bit of background about myself. That's me. I grew up in an extremely mad surrounding. Okay. The technical glitch has to happen. So otherwise, how can it be a presentation? I was also wondering. So that's me. That's probably the only picture, a few pictures without beard. So I have documented it here for all of your benefit. My father and we have a great bond. So I grew up in Tripunithura. Some of you must be, Kovai is not very far from Kerala and Kochi. You know Tripunithura? Anyone? Yeah? Okay. So I'm from Tripunithura, near Ernakulam, and I grew up there. My father was my best companion. He used to tell me really mad stories. My mother was a very strict Hindi teacher. That's one of the subjects I used to fare very badly. And even though she taught, Yeshudas was her student, and he managed to sing some few good Hindi songs. But, it was something that she really struggled. But now I think as a punishment, I had to stay in Bombay for last 28 years or so, learning Hindi, and I know how to speak in Hindi pretty okay. Yeah, that's my father. And I grew up in an environment. It is not unique to me. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you look at your environment where you grew up, there will be unique situations around you. What my attempt is here to sensitize you about what is unique about where you grew up. So we had all these melams, the utsavams and the festivals, temple festivals all the time. And of course, it's God's own country, so gods are all on the street. So you can see all the processions, Kathakali performances. Now that was a video I took outside my gate. So you can see the kind of gods who are just walking around. And I used to go for a lot of painting competitions. My father used to take me there. This is a photo of me as a child. I drew this myself. I was a sample. 4.5 kilos for a baby was pretty unusual those days. And my mother was 44 when she delivered me normally and went back. The story goes like she delivered and by evening she went back home. That's probably a bit of exaggeration, but my father was 44, my mother was 43 when I was born. I have 2 elder sisters. I'm trying to tell you that backgrounds can be very similar, but they are unique to yourself. Again, I'm reiterating that fact. Yeah, I had the same food every single day. It was idli for breakfast, sambar, and the same sambar used to revisit during lunch with rice and some beans, vegetables, every day. All of them used to revisit for dinner. And that was my life, 17 years, till I got admission at NID. Then it was another story altogether. But I used to imagine the lady's finger in the sambar as some very exotic non-veg preparation. The brinjal that used to come, it anyway looks like snail. So when you slice it open, you kind of imagine and replace it in your own mind as something else. So my imagination grew very vividly from childhood because of the circumstances. Now, why the food was the same is it also has a story. In my house, my uncle used to cook. Do any of your houses have uncles cooking? No, so probably that's why. That's the biggest difference. So my mother could never cook in my house. My uncle was a bachelor and he used to cook the food. I think probably he loved idlis and sambar every day and he didn't want it any other way cooked. So he ensured that he made it before all of us woke up. I used to fail pretty regularly for maths. But it was a temple town. Tripunithura used to be a temple town. Even now it is. Every 50 meters there is a temple. So we used to have certain very favorite gods of ours who if you give certain, I won't call it bribe, but if you make a small offering of, like this Siddhivinayak temple, I used to offer 25 Kolkata, we used to call it. Is it the same? Modak. It was very tasty. You have it has sweet coconut fillings and stuff. So once you do that, then you kind of get pass mark. So that was enough for me till the 7th grade, till I had to kind of start loving maths, forcibly loving maths. So I always look at my 14 years of education in the school, and I think how many of those subjects, the calculus and the other things that I learned, were actually useful for me. How much am I using every day? And what a waste, right? In one way, when you think about 14 years of your childhood, you're learning things that you are never going to use forever. It could be, I may be sparking some other sort of, fueling some other fire here. But I just question the system but when I got admission at NID, I was sharing the story. I was among the 30 students that they take from the entire country. And there were probably only one student from one state. And they had a selection process of 6 months or something. And it was my father who was instrumental in finding out where this institute was. And he used to take me for painting competitions. Like many of your parents would be, you all go for painting competitions. Do they exist even now? The dance competition, music competitions and all. So my father used to take me for these competitions. And completely out of the blue, one day during my 11th or 12th, I went for a competition. And normal habit is like, after I do my paintings, after the participants have done it, they allow the parents and others to come in and see the paintings. So my father would stand next to my painting very proudly, not acting as if he's my patron, and he would look at who all are appreciating my painting, and he would come and report to me, there's a good chance that you're going to win. And he would be the most happiest sitting far behind in the auditorium when I am winning an award. He would be the one who would be feeling most proud about it. But they never thought it could become a career option for me. So one of those painting competitions, one stranger came and told my father, whose painting is this? So he said, my son's, very proudly he said. You should go to NID. Guys, I'm talking about 1991. There was no internet. There is no way you can find out there is a place like National Institute of Design that would be existing in Ahmedabad. It doesn't come on newspapers. It doesn't come in any magazines. So, that's how, then he told my father how to go about it, and that's how I got into NID. Yes, that's my NID admission time photo. That's me. Then slowly, one by one, every photo you can see, the only thing that grew was my beard. So that in 5 years, it just lush beard I got. And I got this name Eeks from NID. And one of the things that my father and my parents used to tell me, in South India it happens that, they tell you to just make you feel a little comforted, that you are medium complexioned. So, I was also told that. And I believed that. When I went to NID, it's all North Indians, right? So they told very clearly that you are black and you are Madrasi. So this is like, we can't even explain that, there are 4 states, under Vindhyas. They all speak different languages and they have, it doesn't matter, kya Madrasi, say. Like that they were. And it was something that I felt very, very hurt, and I thought we should do something about it, which I did later on, which I'll share that film with you. So we've been running projects all the while, and even in advertising space. I'm going to show you a couple of ads that we've done. This is for one of the first e-business sites that came about. But we used a very interesting technique. Why I loved the palm leaf engraving that you just gave me is because this film, we have used a very rare art form from Orissa called Pattachitrakatha. They engrave on palm leaf. And this film is done using that technique. So I want to share this film with you. Thank you. So this was one of the first e-com websites, Sulekha.com. They used to, buying and selling is shown in a very different manner. This film is done in 2006 or 7. And one of the first films to win from, animated films to win from Cannes that time. So many years later, do you all use Chrome? You're familiar with Chrome? So many years later, Google Chrome wanted to make an ad to introduce Chrome in India. And they used a very interesting case study of a man from Chennai who revived a very rare art form, Tanjore art. You're familiar with Tanjore art, no? Tanjore painting. he was an exponent in that, but with time, there was no demand for it, and eventually his business was going down, including in the entire ecosystem of people. It's not like mostly they use it in puja rooms, those paintings. It was not given the status of high art or anything like that. So he was going down a natural death, and it was almost that whole tribe was getting over. But he actually took initiative to launch his own website called Tanjore OVM, and started. And he doesn't speak a word of English, but he was eloquent with. He was very good with Photoshop, so he created all these, snippets for the website, and he created a website all by himself, a big task. And the agency who was working on the Chrome asked me to make a film with Tanjore painting style, exactly like Sulekha.com. But we said that the man's accomplishment seemed phenomenal and momentous. So we have to commemorate it in a very different way. Google never used to trust Indians to make their advertisements here because they actually thought our creative standards were really not up to the mark. So they were never giving out any work to be executed by Indians, even though their presence was there in India. So this is the film that we made. I want to share it with you. Maybe the lights can be going off. So this actually opened the gates for Indian companies to do ads for Google, because this film was shown in New York, and the New York team thought this was creative enough. It was done in 2010, so it's a 15-year-old ad, and then there were waves of Indian Google ads that were made in India, and so local works every time. And now I'm coming back to this whole chapter of us South Indians being called dark and black. So there was there was another student from NIT. We have this program called the Incubation Program. We wanted to nurture young, talented filmmakers and mentor them in our studio to create films. So this was one of the first films that was done as part of that program. So I want to share this film with you. This is pretty interesting take on the colorism in India.
Congratulations, it's a boy. But, brown number.
हे भगवान,
अब क्या करेंगे?
My God! Why?
my brown number. 18.
Now I look like number 25, na? No? Now? No.
No. Brown number 18 is from the north and number 80 is from the south.
Ah, that's why I never go to the south.
Will you be my girlfriend? No.
Because my brown number is 70, isn't it?
See, Hill Brown number 40 you can trust. But after that, very dangerous.
20, 25, 30.
Oh God, look, 64. No wife, no job, all because of this. God, please change my brown number to 35.
Have you ever seen a fair beggar?
हम काले हैं तो क्या हुआ दिल वाले हैं
80, 18.
At least 42.
20? No. 30? No. 40?
68. India, Africa, America.
Namaste. Ta-da.
So white.
Sure.
Same pitch. 80, No. Amma.
My brown number. 18.
Now I look like number 25, na? No.
No. Brown number 18 is from the north and number 80
Thank you,
is from
thank
the
you.
south.
So we had a very sweet revenge with this film. It went like a big viral. I don't know, some of you must have seen it. Probably it was very popular in colleges and things. And the great thing is, when we took it to some festivals abroad, it was a Russian festival where one of the film critics came and said, so in India they really have this sort of a number given to the color. so then, we wanted people to actually laugh about this whole thing of, we are all some shade of brown in this country, right? And we say, oh, this fair guy is better, and dark guy is whatever. And you all go abroad, and we are all called brown. We are not said, oh, that's a dark brown or a light brown. Nothing. So here, how much of this distinction is happening, and which is very funny. We just wanted people to laugh about it. In fact, we wanted to create an app where people would take selfie with different lighting, and you can get different brown numbers. So that's sort of a mockery we wanted to create. And Winnie is, as we wished, Winnie is continuing to make wonderful films. She's in France. She's doing some crazy animated films nowadays, and that's our vision. Wherever we can create this impetus in young minds to continue to make films and tell our stories and make them global. That is the real vision. Talking about local, I keep journaling. I think it's something that you all have to also probably look at as a possibility where there are subjects all around us. This is a theme about Bombay rickshawalas. So in Bombay, as you know, there are rickshaw drivers from all over the country, and they are working 12 to 15 hours. I think the rickshaw guys, the way I remember in Coimbatore, they would just tell you a rate and they used to go. They don't go by meter. Are they still like that? They tell you a number and you have to negotiate, and so it's not like that in Bombay. So in Bombay, its minimum is 26 rupees. That might not be the minimum here, right? What is the minimum here? What? 50? 100? Oh my God. So the biggest economic in India, the city which is probably the richest city, the minimum is 26 rupees. And when you are giving a 20 rupee to the rickshaw driver, and you don't have change, the guy will tell you, we don't want 6 rupees, don't waste my time, I'll get another ride, let me go there. So that is the kind of attitude people have. So they work for 12 hours a day. And so they kind of take all sort of postures when they are sitting in the rickshaw. So this is a guy who is sitting in Padmasan, while riding a rickshaw, because it's in rickshaw driving, you don't have anything to do with the feet, no clutch change, nothing, no brake, everything is on the handle. So he was doing that. Then there is another guy who took a little more relaxed sort of pose. And and then there are people who are even more chilled. And these are from actual accounts that I've seen. And then there are some who are always in a hurry, and these speedsters get a high when the women who are passengers who are sitting behind scream. So then they go even more crazier, and Bombay traffic, they go through the buses and things, they get a high like that. And then there are true misfits who shouldn't be driving rickshaw. They are not meant to be, rickshaw drivers. They're really tall and they can't fit into that. And then there are conversationals. So when I go with my dog once in a while, we get really worried that this guy is not at all looking at the road. He's talking to me about the politics of the country, how it is going in the southward. And then there are who are over-anxious people who have an Uber and an Ola on on two phones, and they keep shifting and ensuring that the next ride is already there. And this is yet to be seen, but I'm sure it's a possibility. So so from here I got this, and one of the days I was driving to work, and my car was parked next to a BEST bus. They are huge buses, and there was hardly any gap, maybe 10 inches gap between. And we also in Bombay, we drive in such a way that we don't want anyone to squeeze in. If you leave a little gap, there will be a scooter that will come in and whatever. So you don't want to be following anybody. So that much gap, and there was this really burly fisherwoman who wanted to cross the road, and she wanted to go through that particular gap between my car and the bus. She could have taken any other space, but this is what she chose. And she kind of got stuck in the middle, and she felt that I am responsible for that. And she started kicking my car's bonnet and hurling abuses, and finally she got through and she wobbled away. And I was thinking of, what if she had a rickshaw and she could actually maneuver through this mad traffic? Maybe that is a concept of freedom that she would have probably liked. And we created this film. I'm going to show you a snippet of that.
चांद
Yeah, so this is a film very close to us because we realized that okay, we are doing advertisement films as our main breadwinning for the company, but we ran side projects. This is something that all of you should think about because you have a mainstream work, but you may not be always happy doing that, but you have to do it somehow. But then you run a side project which can keep your ambitions, it can satisfy all your, desires of doing something that is exciting enough. And it can take whatever time. So this film took us 6 years to make it. And then we won our first national award from the President of India for this film. And today, thank you so much. The film has over 50 million views on YouTube, and that too organically. It is something that we wanted to actually experiment because people generally look at characters who are endearing should be beautiful in the conventional way. We wanted to experiment to see whether a character that is conventionally ugly, in my definition, there is nothing like ugly or beautiful, but this particular character was created to define what the society calls as ugly. And I wanted to see how much people connect with such a person. And this experiment was very successful. People love Fisherwoman as a character. And we are trying to make it into a longer film now. And we are working towards that. Similarly, it may be very monotonous, but another day I was driving to work. At a signal, there was a little girl who came and was trying to clean my window. And in Bombay, we look at all these people, underprivileged people, as, oh, they are part of a beggar mafia. You shouldn't help them. If you help them, it will be encouraging them. And all these narratives we are all used to. And I opened after she continuously nagged me, I got pretty angry and I quite aggressive or violently, I shooed her away. I said, just get off. She was taken aback a few steps and I didn't care much because the signal turned green. I drove off. But the rest of the half hour, I was thinking about that kid because that kid was wearing a school uniform. And I was thinking, what if a particular situation at home or whatever drove her to come to the streets to sell those baskets? Then how insensitive of me to react like that to her. And this is something that people must be getting from so many people, this insensitive behavior, inconsiderate way of dealing with humans. Because you at that point feel that you are more privileged than them. And I felt a huge amount of guilt. Went back to that spot looking for her, probably catch hold of her, buy a few baskets, say sorry, but I could never find her. And we made this film. Something to do, this was the trigger for that film, based on that girl. And it was done in stop motion animation. It took us 8 years to make it. This is a film done using puppets. And you must understand that you cannot shoot more than 1 or 2 seconds in a day. So, and it was also a young team like you who were learning on the job, which is one of the things we keep doing in our studio so that we can nurture younger people to be motivated enough to go out and do on their own. And so the film went to over 110 international and national film festivals, and it won over 40 awards. So I'm going to show you a glimpse of that film. That's the making of it. This is the animation in progress. And you will see the final shot now. This one. Yeah, that was a teaser. You can watch it on YouTube. And nearly 50 young people worked and trained with us during this process of 8 years. And the best thing was, do you all know about Studio Ghibli? Some of you? Yeah, you know. Okay. So Ghibli Museum invited us to showcase this film in Japan. And in 2017 first. And once again, they invited the film in 2024 again. And probably the only Indian film screened at Ghibli Museum. And in the same year, we were lucky to win the first ever Annecy for the country. Annecy festival happens in a place called Annecy near Geneva in France. And it's the biggest ever animated film festival. And why it is very important is because Indians are always considered job workers by the international community. That we are good with our skill, their ideas would be executed in India by the sweatshops here, and we love that job because it pays us well. So there was no nurturing of our own thinking, our own stories on the side ever. There was no priority of making things for us with using our technology and our techniques and our expertise. So this was the first time an Indian story was getting awarded at such a prestigious animation festival, and that changed a lot of alignments of perception for the country and the work, animated work coming from the country. From then, a lot of Indian films started getting nominated, not getting awarded yet, but that itself is a big change because people started making films, investing their own time. That's the biggest change. Yeah. Again, I'm talking about something local. This is when I was growing up. I keep reminiscing our surroundings, and this is something that you also can. Everybody's childhood would be unique. You know, during my growing up years, spitting was a statement. You know, in cinema, that Rajinikanth would if you had to show disrespect, he would just turn and chew and thup. You know, it was an attitude. It was like, how we have all learned the Western way of doing those gestures to ask someone to buzz off. This was another way of attitude, and I used to quite like it. Then I used to practice it on my own private time till I saw one of my uncles who actually, had a different sort of formation. He made a different mouth formation. So the projectile of the spit can be, you get maximum distance for it. So I used to practice going to the terrace of the house, and I used to practice a little bit. Till one day I saw one completely different technique, scissor cut. So this was the guy who kept two fingers, and he could spit through that gap and it could reach anywhere. I was in awe. I was like, wow, this is the man. And then we used to have the rasna squashes at home those days. We used to store those things. So when visitors came, you just mix a little bit of rasna squash and give them. So I took a glass of that and I started practicing. When my eldest sister caught me red-handed and gave me the punishment of life. And this torture technique also is very unique. It's not very common in north of India. This, putting the nails into the cartilage of the ear and then giving that few rotations. And with that, it imprints in your memory that this is something that you shouldn't try again. And that is what. Then, so my father, I was telling you all about. Father's stories were really amazing. He used to take me to his hometown near Alleppey, and he would tell me about the ghosts that he had seen. And he had a vivid way of telling that what time exactly he saw the ghost and where. So the location also he would show me, and around what time, and he would tell me if a ghost comes. It's not a regular ghost of people who died, and there are Madan, Kuttichatan, there are different kind of creatures. I don't know, in Coimbatore, they may have different names, but you may still see them. Sometimes you may feel them as from real people also. So you need to be very alert when you are experiencing a Kuttichathan or a Madan. So what do you call generally a general bugging monster? What do you call in Tamil? Huh? Pishache. Pishache is okay. What any like little more local country type ghost? Huh? Poochie and no, Poochie is like insect, no? Yeah. So my father used to say that, and till around 40 years, I used to believe in them. So when I used to go to his hometown, I used to be shit scared that, this areas, if I'm walking around, it's going to be, maybe I will encounter something. So I recorded, but I realized that because I was staying far away from Kerala, I could have a different perspective about his storytelling. And I felt that this sort of storytelling has to be documented. I asked him questions about the ghost that he's encountered, and I recorded him on my mobile phone. So this is very easy for all of you to do, and that's how we created this film. I'm going to show you a snippet of this film where he explains about one of the ghosts that he's seen and experienced.
സാധാരണ ഗർഭിണികളായിട്ടുള്ള സ്ത്രീകള് അപമൃത്യുവിന് ഇരയാകുമ്പോ അവരുടെ പ്രേതം ഈനാമ്പേച്ചിയായിട്ട് തീരുന്നെന്നാ പറയുന്നത്. അതിന്റെ സംസാരം നമുക്ക് അറിയാനൊക്കെ, ദൂരം ഇവിടെ അറിയാനൊക്കെ. ഒരു തുണ്ണിപ്പത്തൊന്നിങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് സംസാരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടാണ് അത് ഓടുന്നത്.
അതിന്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താ?
തുണ്ണിപ്പെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാല് സാധാരണയായിട്ട് കശുമാവ്, നാടൻ മാവൊക്കെ ഇപ്പൊ കായ്ക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് അതിന്റെ താഴെ മാങ്ങ വീണ് കിടക്കുമല്ലോ, അതിങ്ങനെ പെറുക്കി എണ്ണിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. അത് സാധാരണ രാത്രിയിലെ 2:30 മണിക്ക് ശേഷമാണ് പുറത്തിറങ്ങുന്നത്.
2:30 മണി?
അതിങ്ങനെ ഏതാണ്ട് ഫുട്ബോൾ പോലെ ഇരിക്കും. അതിങ്ങനെ ഉരുണ്ടുരുണ്ടാണ് സഞ്ചരിക്കുക.
അത് ശരി.
ഗർഭിണികളൊക്കെ കണ്ടാലേ അത് വയറ് കീറി മാന്തി.
So this is a snippet from the film. I want to show you a glimpse of the making of it.
ഈനാമ്പേച്ചി ഞാൻ കേട്ടിട്ടുള്ളത്, ഞാൻ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് ഒരിക്കൽ. ഈനാമ്പേച്ചിയെ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ അത് തന്നെയാണോന്ന് എനിക്കറിയില്ല.
So we acted as monsters.
ലാസ്റ്റില് പൊരിയില്ലേ, പൊരി ഒന്ന് കറക്കുന്നു.
സിനിമയുടെ some murmurs and all those things. Sound designer, I'm not an
അതിന്റെ നമുക്ക് അറിയാനൊക്കെ ദൂരം ഇവിടെ അറിയാനൊക്കെ ഒരു തുണ്ണിപ്പത്തൊന്നിങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് സംസാരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടാണ് അത് ഓടുന്നത്. ഒരു തുണ്ണിപ്പത്തൊന്നിങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് സംസാരിച്ചു കൊണ്ടാണ് അത് ഓടുന്നത്. ആയോ ആന മറുതാ.
So now, thanks. The deal is, this film has opened a whole new genre of people starting to look at this Yakshi and these stories in Malayalam cinema. So there are films like Brahmayugam and Loka and all these films are coming. They're using a lot of references of what these monsters used to be, and old books like Aitihiyamala and which my father also refers from. So they have all become very relevant in the modern context. So it is opening up a new horror genre because we kind of brought such a story which my father said which was accepted by so many young people, which we didn't think it would connect with them. So now my father is a celebrity there. So he at 95, he is pretty well known. People want selfies with him. So he likes the importance as well. So then this is one image that I want to show you where we won the national award, and I told him that, Acha, you will have to go and get the award from the president. So he felt very embarrassed that, with all my stories and bluffs and everything, how can I go to the president and receive the award? I said, no, but you will have to go. So it was a full circle of life coming for me when he went and received the award from the president. I want to share that moment with you.
Shri P.N.K. Panikar, the veteran on the stage, deserves a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And we can see part of standing ovation. I think they have their family members, a collection of whimsical tales around urban legends in rural landscapes created by Panikar ji, reminding of Indian traditions of oral folklore retellings, which has been an integral part of our civilization and our traditional storytelling.
Yes, so that was a full circle moment for me because he was the one who always stood in the crowd and, cheered me whenever I was winning, wherever I was going. And, for me, it really gave me that happiness that, he never believed that, at 95, he would, be awarded something like that. But his stories are precious. His way of oral storytelling, that's not a talent that we have. It's a generation of people. There are no listeners, so they are also not there anymore because of the nuclear family setups. Grandparents are no more relevant, and the current grandparents don't have any idea of such stories. So this was very precious for me. Now the next film that I'm going to share is a very important film, the Desi Oon film that I'm going to show you a glimpse of it.
मेरा नाम है ऊन ऊन ऊन, मेरी कहानी जरा सुन 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 सुन। ऊन मेरा नाम है ऊन ऊन ऊन, ऐसी वैसी न समझो, मुझ में है बड़े गुण। सुन 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 सुन। भेड़ों की पीठ पे है मेरा घर, जो दक्खन के जंगलों में करती सफर। कुरमा और कुर्बानी धनगर, हर गांव कबीले पे मेरा असर। सिर्फ चरवाह नहीं मेरे यार सखा, हर इंसान की मुझको होती है फिकर। सुन 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 सुन। घोंगड़ी घोंगड़ी मैं बनूं घोंगड़ी घोंगड़ी, मैं बनूं घोंगड़ी घोंगड़ी, सबके कंधे पे जो चढ़ी, कभी सर्दी से मैं लड़ी, कभी बरसातों की झड़ी, कभी पालना बन के झूली, कभी किसी चिता संग जली। मैंने किसानों की नंगी पीठ ढकी, सरहद पे जवानों की बनी सखी। मैंने कितने ही जोड़ों की शादी रची, सबकी उलझन सुलझाई और लाज रखी। मैं बनूं घोंगड़ी घोंगड़ी, कंधे पे जो चढ़ी, सबके कंधे पे जो चढ़ी। ये दक्कन की भेड़े गजब है बड़ी, सुंदर ये प्यारी ये जादू भरी। खेती पहाड़ों में चरने ये जाए, किस्म किस्म की ये जड़ी बूटियां खाए। इनका दूध है दवा, हाँ ये करता इलाज। इनका मलमूत्र बने खेतों की खाद। जब ये देती है जान बचाती है जान। इसका गोश्त बीमारियों का नुस्खा महान। इसकी खाल बचाए चरवाहों के पैर, जो राह पे चलना करे आसान। एक भेड़ से चले हजारों की दुकान। बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा। एक चरवाहे का नाम बाळू मामा, उन्होंने भेड़ों के गुणों को पहचाना। इनके झुंड को पवित्र झुंड कहा, इनको बचाने का काम अपने हाथ लिया। बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा। अपनी भेड़ों को पाला और पोसा, लाखों तक उनको पहुंचाया। इन काली सुंदर भेड़ों ने बाळू मामा का नाम पाया। बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा। जिस खेत में ये भेड़ें चरती है, उस खेत में फसल दुगनी उगती है। बाळू मामा का बड़ा एहसान रहा, उसने भेड़ों को अपना बच्चा कहा। बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा। बाळू मामा की पूजा करते हैं लोग, उन्हें संत महात्मा कहते हैं लोग। बाळू मामा, बाळू मामा। बाळू मामा ने बड़ा साथ दिया, इस खत्म होती दखनी को बचा लिया। उन मेरा नाम है उन उन उन, मेरी कहानी जरा सुन सुन सुन। उन मेरा नाम है उन उन उन, मेरी कहानी जरा सुन सुन सुन। सबसे ज्यादा ऊन अपना देश उगाए, पर जरूरत की ऊन विदेशों से मंगवाए। 42 किस्म की भेड़ें होती है यहाँ, फिर अपनी जरूरतें क्यों ना पूरी कर पाए। नकली एक्रेलिक मेरी जगह ले रहा, मेरे चरवाहे तू ये जुल्म कैसे सह रहा। नकली एक्रेलिक मेरी जगह ले रहा, मेरे चरवाहे तू जुल्म कैसे सह रहा। उन मेरा नाम है उन उन उन, ओ चरवाहे मेरी पुकार जरा सुन। ओ चरवाहे मेरी पुकार जरा सुन। तू जान ले मेरे है फायदे अनेक, मुझे कचरे की पेटी में देना मत फेंक। मुझे कचरे की पेटी में मत देना फेंक। बालू मामा की राह पे चलेंगे हम, दिखा देंगे दुनिया को हमारी ऊन में कितना है दम।
हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए, उस ऊन को बचाए जो ऊन हमें हर कदम बचाए। चलो कदम बढ़ाए, उस ऊन को बचाए जो ऊन हमें हर कदम बचाए। चलो कदम बढ़ाए, उस ऊन को बचाए जो ऊन हमें हर कदम बचाए। चलो कदम बढ़ाए, उस ऊन को बचाए। उन उन उन।
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. So I want to tell you a little bit about the story. Now, this is very important. So when you shouldn't miss an opportunity when you are going for a convention like this. You never know where the inspiration is going to come from. This project was not something that I planned to do at all. So it started in 2022, December. I was in Delhi, and I saw this post on Sarita's Instagram handle. And I said, Nilima was there, so I said, why don't we just visit this exhibition called Desi Un, the same name for the film. You know, we gave the same name of this exhibition for our film as well. And there, I realized that there are 42 breeds in the country. And we are one of the biggest producer of wool. And they have a very special lifestyle. While all the other countries in Europe and other places, they have sheep, they have a range, they have a fenced way of keeping the sheep. But in India, the shepherds and the families walk with the sheep. It is there in Tamil Nadu also. There is one kind of sheep. But they travel for 6 months, 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers, walking, and it's a most sustainable way of life, living. And it was really, really nice to know that. And in that place, I met with one very old man, 80-year-old shepherd, who was from Karnataka, Deccan area. And he gave me a kambali. It's a blanket made of the Deccani sheep wool, black sheep. This is the story about the Deccani sheep. Black sheep is considered a very odd rebel in the English language. Black sheep is because it's unusual. But here in Deccan Plateau, we see black sheep. That's the speciality of it. And that's a very special breed that's protected by Balumama's initiative. And so he gave me this kambali. I live in Bombay. There is no use for a kambali. There is no winter there, right? And I buy it, and Nilima, my wife, is like, what the heck are you going to do with kambali, in Bombay? And he said, no, the old man said, you wash it. And once you wash it, it'll become soft. It was very rough. And first wash at home, lot of creatures went from the blanket. And then Nilima was like, this is it. I'm going to keep this blanket outside the house. I said, but let's one more wash, and more black powdery things went. The creatures had left home by then. And then it became soft and whatever. And then that particular evening, I went to a friend's house, a senior of mine house, and I encountered this book, and that was written by Sarita. And she was in the US, so he immediately connected me to Sarita. So it is written by Sarita, you should get a book. And then I'm back in Bombay and I get this book, which is talking about the life of pastoralists in India, a world without roof. So it's a great concept where, the sheep, the herd it's not like the shepherds are herding them. There are many times when the herd is actually guiding the shepherd and the family to safe haven. They can preempt hurricanes, typhoons, and all those things. So it was a very amazing way of living. Moment humans started making rigid homes, that's when the hurricanes and all could actually crumple them, and casualties used to happen. But the pastoralists never died, or they never had these sort of casualties. So I went through this book, and then again that statistics was riveting, and this was quite scary. That instead of consuming Indian wool, we import 80 million tons of wool. So all those things I saw, but there was no project. Then suddenly in 2023 June, I get this message from Sarita that they want to do something for an exhibition called Living Lightly. And so Sarita is a pretty dangerous person. She can be infectious. She can create anything from nothing. So I just want to tell you that this is a project that happened like that. And there was no money from the organization. Center for Pastoralism didn't have any money to do this project. Said that, there is an exhibition called Living Lightly that's going to happen in Bangalore, and we would like to make a film as a dedication to Balu Mama. And like you had done the Rajasthan tourism film with sand, what if we do something with wool, was the idea. I said, very great idea, and but we need money for it. It's a very expensive process. I'll show you what is Rajasthan tourism film, just for you to know what it is, how it was done. That was Rajasthan tourism film, and it's made with sand. It's with actual sand. For days and days you have to shoot with sand, and you create a film. And this is like a big film for Living Lightly. Then Sarita introduced me to Sushma, who was the chief curator of Living Lightly. She was very positive. She said, Suresh, we will do this film. She insisted that I went with the flock and experienced it firsthand. So then I go to the Belgaum, and then we had to go by road 100 kilometers into Maharashtra border to see the flock. And at 4 in the morning, we had to go pick up a shepherd. So this is in 2024, okay. And the shepherd who came from a village to guide me and take me through the flock and, explain things to me. So we stop at a house in Belgaum to get this man, and this man comes and sits in front of, in the car. We were sitting behind, me and another lady from Center for Pastoralism. And the man, very old man, he comes and sits in front of me. And it was the same man who sold me the blanket in 2022. It's not spooky, but it's like crazy, right? This sort of serendipity is absolutely unimaginable. And he took me, that is Neelkant Mama, who is taking me through the, it's deep inside one village in Maharashtra. We went, and then we had a lot of conversations, and I saw how they lived, the communities lived. There was no experience, and I was doubly motivated to do this film. By then, somehow I found an organization from Bangalore who came up and said, we'll fund the film. And they gave us all the funds that were required for making the film. And that's how the film happened. And so, you never can disregard what you get inspired by, what you are encountering, because what it would trigger and become what, you have no idea. So don't be dismissive about, oh, you're going for a session, or, when they're bringing, the beautiful thing about this Let's Talk series, what I like about it is, you're bringing the outside inside. All of you sitting in this room may not be able to access the people outside and all of you together. But when you bring the outside inside, like I am coming, or tomorrow another scientist would come, you are getting exposed to a perspective from outside, which will change the way you're looking at things and may trigger something that you yourself wouldn't have thought you could do. And that's exactly what happened with me. If I didn't go for that exhibition, if I didn't interact with people, I wouldn't have made a film like this that went places. And I'm going to show you the making of this film. This is the first time I'm showing in the public. I know I have exceeded in time, but can you give me 10 minutes? Are you sure? Okay, thank you.
आपसे कंबली लिया था मैं
कंबली
हाँ दिल्ली में बहुत टाइम हो, मतलब 2022 में
22 में
दिसंबर में था ना, दिसंबर
दिल्ली में नहीं?
दिल्ली में. He doesn't remember me.
ऐसे सभी
दवा का एक खाता
ये सभी दवाई का सभी ग्रास खाते थे और वो दवाई का सभी मिल्क हमारे को मिलता था, उसका मीट हमारे को
मिलता था.
उसकी गोबरी किसानों को खेती को
खेती में मिलता था.
खाने के अपना सब्जियां बनाने का.
अच्छा, उसमें भी दवा आता है.
हाँ तो दवाई खाए सोच उसमें सभी आने वाला नहीं.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
हाँ
हाय कर हाय.
हाँ हेलो. यस.
वो उनके भाषा में मॉम बोला रे. उनके भाषा में.
वॉट काय बघताय सगळे.
पर खेती वाले जो सारे यहाँ पे है मराठा में, वो इनको इतना क्यों मानते हैं?
ये तो इसके जो गोबरी जो है ना, ये बहुत असल गोबरी, दवाई गोबरी मिलती है. उसकी ऊर्जा जमीन को मिलती है, उसका मूत्र जमीन को मिलता है. ये सभी उसके तरीका वो सभी जमीन को अच्छा से अच्छा
भूइष्ट करता है, भूइष्ट है.
ताकत मिलती है उसको.
वो उसका एक वो चलेगा, एक पूरा ग्रुप. हाँ, मेरे नाम है बुलबुल, मेरी कहानी जरा सुन सुन सुन, बुलबुल सुन सुन सुन. किस्म की भेड़े होती है यहाँ.
ट्राई करते हैं.
42 किस्म की भेड़ें होती है यहाँ. फिर अपनी जरूरतें क्यों ना पूरी कर पाए.
ना पूरी कर पाए, क्यों ना पूरी कर पाए. तो जान ले मेरे फायदे अनेक, मुझे कचरे की पेटी में मत देना प्रेम. ये अच्छा लाइन है, इसको ही फॉलो कर.
ये अपना एग्जिस्टेंस का लाइन है. टाइम नकली का एंट्री ठीक.
1 2 1 नकली ली पे वजन. 1 2 1
नकली एक्रेलिक मेरी जगह ले रहा, मेरे चरवाहे तू ये जुल्म कैसे सह रहा.
नकली एक्रेलिक मेरी जगह ले रहा, मेरे चरवाहे तू जुल्म कैसे सह रहा.
कालू मामा की राह पे चलेंगे हम, दिखा देंगे दुनिया को हमारी ऊन में कितना है दम.
हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस उनको बचाए जो उन. हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस उनको बचाए जो उन. हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस उनको बचाए जो उन. हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस उनको बचाए.
ओहो, जिस खेत में ये भेड़े चरती है, उस खेत में फसल दुगनी उगती है. बाड़ू मामा का बड़ा एहसान रहा, उसने भेड़ों को अपना बच्चा कहा.
मतलब वो कैसा बना रहे,
कैसा आ रहा है? मजा आ रहा है?
मैं बनूं घोंगड़ी घोंगड़ी सबके कंधे पे जो चढ़ी. कभी सर्दी से मैं लड़ी, कभी बरसातों की झड़ी, कभी पालना बन के झूली.
कभी किसी चिता संग जली। मैंने किसानों की नंगी पीठ ढकी, सरहद पे जवानों की बनी सखी। मैंने कितने ही जोड़ों की शादी रची, सबकी उलझन सुलझाई और लाज रखी।
I'm calling you guys. Is that okay?
It's okay.
Huh?
Yes.
If two people can come and help me when this is happening, because I am bad at stilting. Okay, truth. Okay.
Even like everywhere, wherever we felt like we should maintain some direction.
Yeah, some direction would be good. Yeah.
Maybe like this is oval, so like this direction we can maintain.
Yeah.
No, no. हरी ने खत्म किया तो मैं क्या बोलेगा?
So no one had prior knowledge in doing any of these things.
So right now we are making props for Balu Mama. For him we have multiple props, especially his body. Like we are making some hands, some legs of different sizes. Even from his head to torso, there are few sizes of him we will make. Inside each of these, there is a interior which is made of styrofoam and wires to provide it stability and so that we can move it like this. So with the wool and this needle, I will be felting on it and providing it the outer structure, how it will look like. So done. Done.
This is where we are shooting. The character says, भेड़ों की पीठ पे है मेरा घर. भेड़ों की पीठ पे है मेरा घर means the wound is trying to say that my home is on the back of the sheep. Now, technically, we don't know how it's possible, but in animation, we can. So let me take you to the tour of भेड़ों की sheep पे है मेरा घर.
भेड़ों की पीठ पे है मेरा घर जो दक्खन के जंगलों में करती सफर. कुर्मा और कुर्बानी धनगत हर गांव कबीले पे मेरा असर. सिर्फ चरवाहे नहीं मेरे यार सखा, हर इंसान की मुझको होती है फिक्र. चरवाहे का नाम बालू मामा, उन्होंने भेड़ों के गुणों को पहचाना. इनके झुंड को पवित्र झुंड कहा, इनको बचाने का काम अपने हाथ लिया.
बेसिकली हम लोग ये वाले फ्रेम से रीशूट करेंगे. ये वाले फ्रेम नंबर देने का जरूरत नहीं, ये फ्रेम चाहिए.
इन काली सुंदर भेड़ों ने बालू मामा का नाम पाया. बालू मामा बालू मामा बालू मामा बालू मामा बालू मामा की पूजा करते हैं लोग, उन्हें संत महात्मा कहते हैं लोग. बालू मामा बाळू मामा ने बड़ा साथ दिया, इस खत्म होती दखनी को बचा लिया। उन मेरा नाम है उन मेरी कहानी जरा सुन सुन सुन। उन मेरा नाम है उन मेरी कहानी जरा सुन सुन सुन। सबसे ज्यादा ऊन अपना देश उगाए, पर जरूरत की ऊन विदेशों से मंगवाए। 42 किस्म की भेड़ें होती है यहाँ, फिर अपनी जरूरतें क्यों ना पूरी कर पाए। उन मेरा नाम है उन चरवा है मेरी पुकार जरा सुन। तू जान ले मेरे है फायदे अनेक, मुझे कचरे की पेटी में देना मत फेंक,
मुझे कचरे के पेटी में मत देना फेंक।
बालू मामा की राह पे चलेंगे हम, दिखा देंगे दुनिया को हमारी ऊन में कितना है दम।
हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस ऊन को बचाए। ऊन हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस ऊन को बचाए। ऊन हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस ऊन को बचाए। ऊन हमें हर कदम बचाए, चलो कदम बढ़ाए उस ऊन को बचाए।
So that's amazing. So it's very important for you to know that the average age group of kids.
अच्छा लग रहा है आपका ये पगड़ी बहुत सही है।
So the average age group was 24, 25. So all of them who were working, they were all students. Some of the artists, art students became engineers, engineers became artists. So it was a mela of convergence of talent and spirit. So, you know, I have huge respect for the Gen Z people, because when they determine to do something, they go out and with what focus. And that's something that I don't see. You know, I know people say that you guys are, stuck to phones and all those things. But I have seen tremendous amount of energy when you all come together and decide on making a difference and achieving something. You just go full hog. And for this film, we won the Annecy Award after 10 years, which is like the Oscar for 10 years ago when we won, nobody knew, but now people knew about it. And I was very happy that one of the interns who used to work with us, she had her film or a pitch at Annecy, and this time I couldn't attend Annecy because of some other commitments in India. And she went and received it on our behalf, and it was a great honor, and I feel we are setting the stage for the younger generation to go up there and win awards. And I have this moment to share with you.
Pour un film de commande. The jury award for a commissioned film.
The jury award for a commissioned film goes to Desi Hoon by Suresh Ariel.
this. I think Desi Oon is a testimony of the magic and the hard work that goes behind every frame of stop motion, right from the production, scripting, research, animation, set, props, music, everything. So thank you, Annecy. Thank you, team, for this recognition, and thank you from India.
Yeah, so that was a momentous time for her and for all of us. And then there was a post that was going around after that, and I really felt it was probably the reason my parents didn't push me. I pushed for IIT. I studied for IIT, but I got through NID, and I remember after giving the interview, I was not very sure. At every point, my father was there with me, and I told him, Acha, this time I'm trying, next time I'll get for sure. So at every time I reassured him that don't be disappointed if I don't get through. And I went back to Kerala to write my JEE, Joint Entrance Examination for IIT, because that is what I was studying for 2 years, last 2 years, 11th and 12th. And first day's exam was over, and my impatient father couldn't stop, but he called up NID and found out that I got admission. And that evening I got the news, and next day's entrance I didn't go, because I was so much in love with that campus. I think like DJ AD, we had a lot of peacocks there. And I fell in love with the campus when I went for the interview itself. And I think the one thing I would like to say is parents, if they don't push any career option on children, it's much better. In my case, my parents didn't know what could be a career option that I could go for. But they never said that, go for this or that. And I think that made me more responsible. And I didn't have to blame anyone for my failure, but I had someone to thank for my wins. And yeah, that is on that note, I want to stop my presentation. I had one chapter of me meeting Miyazaki-san that I wanted to share with you, but I think I will skip that. And I want to thank all of you and to give you one last message that I think you should all think of being like a sponge. A sponge, like the way Sarita was also talking about. It is very solid at a cellular, molecular level, but it is porous, and it is extremely flexible. It can soak in so much. And I feel whenever you are in a space, be a sponge, but be sure where you are. If a sponge is in sewage, then it'll soak in that water. But if you are in great water, you'll be soaking in great water, and you'll be even emanating, radiating much better nutrients and minerals outwards. And that's what we need. So you all need to be very, very sure about where you are and what you're doing. And I hope you make the right choices and be a sponge, because stories and things, inspiration is all around us. It's the same for all of us. But who is a sponge, who absorbs it first, who does something with that first, makes a big difference. And on that note, I want to conclude my talk. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.